The owners of the Ambassador Bridge are on the offensive against supporters of a proposed publicly owned bridge downriver. They argue the project will lose money.
You can't make a guarantee that a money-losing enterprise won't eventually cost taxpayers their own dollars. All the numbers support the fact that the government bridge will lose money hand over fist every year, year after year.
With experts compensated by the bridge company on hand, they made the case against a public bridge, arguing tolls could not offset the $2 billion price tag.
The interest on the $1 billion, plus or minus, on the U.S. side, the interest on that would render the facility on the U.S. side just not viable. In other words, the expenses would be greater than the tolls, and it loses money.
The Canadian government has offered to front-end Michigan's $550 million share for the new bridge and recover the money through tolls. Governor Snyder says the money can be used to obtain $2.2 billion in federal money for Michigan road rebuilding. But the former chief counsel of the Federal Highway Administration says that number is a big stretch and there is no guarantee the money will be available.
And if I were chief counsel of the Federal Highway Administration and this were presented to me again today, I would definitely render the opinion that this is not a good project.
Remember when made in America used to mean something? Well, not everyone does. Chinese firms have already funded and run state-sponsored projects in New York, Texas, and South Carolina. Not only did California hire the Chinese to rebuild the Bay Bridge, they sent their governor over there to thank the Chinese workers. Now Rick Snyder's going to China, calling his trip long overdue. If Made in Michigan still means something to you, call Rick Snyder and tell him he works for the people of Michigan, not the People's Republic of China.
Attention, good citizens of Michigan, the Great Lakes region, and of the once great country of America. The mainstream media will not and cannot give you the proper details of Governor Rick Snyder's project involving the forced construction of a new international bridge crossing to Canada. His agenda is that of a group of the world's elite and powerful to gain control of the flow of goods throughout the North American continent and back to the source of those products, Africa, China, and India. These countries will be the world's suppliers of all vital products in our future. They will be the leaders of industry. Your manufacturing and food growth industries are being phased out of America more and more each year due to higher prices, increased taxes, and heavy restrictions. The members of this elite group want to secure economic power for the future while eliminating competition. That includes Canada, the United States, and Mexico. The sovereignty and rights of these countries will begin to melt away as the completed project enters its full implication. This project was once branded the NAFTA superhighway in the early 1990s, but it was quickly laid to rest after stark objections arose. Currently today, the project has been revitalized, given a new name, a new face, and is being pushed onto the people of our nations. The new Transcontinental Corridor Project, or the TCC as it is known, will be coming to pass within our governor's first term in office. Governor Snyder's remarks, given during an interview while in China, state his goals should be completed within his first term, leaving him no reason to run for a second term if his goals have been met. These goals, he refers to, are to meet his agreements with foreign partners in this project by forcing a new bridge crossing on the people of Michigan. Many more endeavors will begin soon to support this project, like the widening of many freeways including parts of I-75 and US 23 in Michigan and Ohio, allowing Michigan's roads and bridges to rot. The now famous bridges to nowhere will soon have somewhere to go when linked into these highways. The American leg of TCC superhighway begins with two crossings from Mexico, blossoming into at least 5 major highways, cutting paths through the United States en route to the Canadian border. Numerous ports and railways are in the works as well, on both seaboards, to accommodate direct shipping from coast to coast. This system of transportation will implement new construction, such as the Detroit Bridge proposal, along with acquiring ownership of existing freeway systems, such as the Indiana and Ohio turnpikes, in an effort to join them into a massive network of pavement and steel, cutting through our great land. The highway is slated to be fully contained. Access is by clearance only. This road is not for our use. The Texas section of the project has already affected towns along the newly acquired sections of this road, blocking their entry for security purposes. Blocking towns from the freeway kills the local economy and the town itself. Attention to what harm this system causes to landowners, residents and towns is no concern for these money-hungry, powerful people. Future control of food, water and products for all of North America is too alluring for our greedy leaders to pass up. Billions in currency will flow to this new system, but this currency is rumored not to be our American dollar. It's said that a new monetary system will replace all currencies to lift us out of economic collapse and breathing new life for the combined Canadian, United States and Mexican governments, forming into one nation. The North American alliance is to become the United States of North America within the next quarter century. Detroit's bridge project, along with many other projects, will be forced through without regards to price or opinions. The bridge project is now being primarily funded by the nation of China. China's state-owned construction-based businesses are currently building infrastructure all over North America. They are even boasting of a new bridge in San Francisco, to be announced. Control of the TCC project has been given to a Spanish-owned company making their section of the road, legally Spain. This may sound wrong to you, but that is the world we have been fooled into making. Do not assume your news source is being complete with a story. They usually are not. Use the internet and inform yourselves from non-profit news sources commonly referred to as alternative media. That is your best chance at a complete story like this. YouTube can enlighten you on this subject as well. Research what is happening around you. The world is changing rapidly. Arm yourselves with knowledge, or you have no chance. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and return often.
Has made a decision to invest $9 billion in Mexico. And what this highway provides is a way for them to bring goods into the United States to be sold here with none of the jobs being located here.
The highway she's referring to is actually several different projects collectively known as the NAFTA Superhighway. The routes are a combination of existing roads, planned expansion of others, new roads, and rail lines. The project's funded with a mix of private, state, and federal funds. The trade route begins at Mexico's ports on the west coast and runs all the way up to Kansas City. The facilities being developed there, known as the KC Smartport. The project's aimed to expedite trade flow. The combination of reduced inspections at the borders, insurging Chinese goods coming through Mexican ports are raising concerns about security.
There's something called the Agreement on Security and Prosperity that is being negotiated by the Bush administration very quietly. No hearings are being held in this Congress. Most Americans have never even heard of the term. But it really is the successor to NAFTA. This Security and Prosperity Agreement, as it is being called, has no democratic underpinning to it. It's being negotiated by the very same elites that negotiated NAFTA. And let's look at some of the signs of what is happening. It is suddenly clearer why a company from Spain called Cintra wants to be the gatekeeper on this new highway structure. Cintra is a subsidiary of Ferrovial, the Spanish transportation company founded by multi-billionaire Rafael de Pino, who is one of the richest people in the world. Cintra already operates the Chicago Skyway, one of the nodes along the way here, under a 99-year concession, and is planning development of the Trans-Texas Corridor, which is another part of this plan. Cintra is a 50-50 partner with Macquarie Infrastructure Group, an Australian investment bank, in another place in America called Indiana, where the Indiana Turnpike, can you believe this, has been leased to a foreign interest. And we're told that Ohio, the state that I represent, might be the next state to unwisely rent one of its major assets to a foreign nation.
Look at Indiana's. I think they're very pleased. You get glitches in anything, but I think Indiana's very pleased with the decision they made. You know, is in Indiana, when there was speculation about what they could get by leasing the turnpike in Indiana, they thought it was going to be $1 billion, $2 billion. It ended up being almost $4 billion. So you don't know where this is going to end up, and we're not going to do anything in a haphazard or quick way.
Let's start with the people who made the deal with the governor. The company known as ITRC, the Indiana Toll Road Concession. In just the past few days, reports have surfaced that suggest the company will soon default on the debt it created by leasing the toll road. The lease of the Indiana Toll Road will last 75 years. The owners of that lease paid $3.8 billion, money the state of Indiana already has. Money trouble for them has little effect on the governor. But the people who drive the Indiana Toll Road will pay. Already the price of driving the length of the road from Ohio to Illinois in a passenger car has gone up from $4.65 5 years ago to $8.80 now.
That said, you may have already seen commercials about this rate hike. Historically, over the last few years, we've seen a dramatic increase in prices. From 1985 through 2007, passenger vehicles paid $4.65 to use the toll road. Then in 2008, 2 years after the state leased the roadway to investors for nearly $4 billion, the price skyrocketed to $8 even. Last year we hit $8.80. And now we're just 23 days away from that $9 threshold.